y'all, welcome to my channel. It's Dr. Jenny from the block, and if you're new here, welcome, 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 and if you're returning, welcome back. So today I have a special guest with me. We're going to be talking a little bit about mental health, and I think for me, I really want to lean into having more people, come onto the channel and give their own perspectives about their own journeys with mental well-being. And so I want to give an opportunity for my guests to introduce themselves, and then we're going to get right to it. So I will turn it over to you.
What's up, y'all? My name is CHAMEL. I go by I AM CHAMEL. And I'm happy to be here and to be a part, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you're being very humble. So please let the people know what you do. Tell them about your brand, about your music. Because Chanel does a lot. So please, humble brag.
I'm a music artist. I go by the name of I AM CHAMEL. That's IAMCHAMEL. I have a clothing line called What Is Fear. I work with the youth. We have a nonprofit called Peace Community Closet. We're a bi-weekly mobile pop-up boutique for the homeless. We do hygiene packs, we feed them, we have clothing. We work with the different school districts and the different organizations within the school districts to do pop-up gives and stuff at schools, at events, community events that need it and that, want whatever resources we have at the time that we're able to give. So we outside.
You cut hair.
Oh yeah, I do. Melly did it. I cut hair. I do locks, twist. I write.
And so you weren't gonna say any of that. That's what I said. I'm like, humble brag. There's a lot of stuff. I'm like, that was so dry of the intro because there's a lot. Okay. So thank you for letting people know. And I'm tag the social so you can check her out. It's support. Yeah, because I'm like, what was that? But yeah, so we want to talk about mental health, and we're going to just, I think, let it flow. Don't want it to feel forced or fake. So I have, just like I said, I was sharing earlier, I only have a couple of questions, and then we're just going to organically go from there. So let's get into it. So the first question for you is, when you were growing up, did the people in your life talk about mental health? And if they did, what were some of the messages that they passed along to you? And if they didn't, what are some things, now that you're at this point in your life that you wish they would have shared with you?
What was talked about and the things that was said about, it wasn't talked about. What we know as mental health, and the things that people struggle and deal with mental health, that was never talked about.
Like the label, it was kind of like you knew somebody was going through something,
right? And like it was more like special needs stuff was mental health, or special needs thing was talked about or more, but people dealing in anxieties and stuff, depression, like what is that?
Right. It's like, don't be sad or
I'm thinking this is a new word like within the last 7 years.
No. No.
What is anxiety? What is that?
No.
And the effects and the things it has and what it does with people, that was never a conversation. That was never talked about. So
yeah, I agree. You're hitting at a big piece. It's like people really focus on maybe like physical or cognitive, disabilities. Yeah, but they really didn't talk about like, okay, if my heart is racing, I'm scared of the unknown or all these things. People weren't given the label anxiety or depression. How do you feel like that impacted you in terms of like your own self-knowledge and awareness, like of mental health? Like, do you feel like it held you back, or do you feel like there were, even though it may not have been named explicitly, that there was some insight given when you were younger?
Yeah, I definitely wish that there was insight given when I was younger. I definitely wish that feelings and communication was even better and more as a kid, period.
Yeah.
When everybody grows up differently, in different times and different generations, and how people are raised and brought up is completely different. So it's like some people I was growing up in more like an authoritative dictatorship. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you don't talk about your feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me and my dad would have conversations and stuff like when I get in trouble or do something. But even in communicating those things, it was more so. But them wanting you to see it from their perspective and do it their way, and you didn't, and you can't explain that. But then you're in trouble for, just doing what kids do, But I don't know. I just wish communication in general and kids felt it was made to feel safe and comfortable and open to have conversations about whatever. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, just being able to express yourself, period, and not be judged for it or ridiculed or, not open to it.
I mean, I feel like you're naming something important that comes up so often is like many of us have difficulty with vulnerability. Mm-hmm. And I think that for many of us, it comes from childhood of like trying to open up or share like this is a problem for me or I'm struggling. Mm-hmm. And I think, as I've gotten older, I understand it now. Like when I was young, a little bit younger, in my adult life, I used to be very bitter about that. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't create that space for me to talk. But then I think about, and I was reading a book and someone else was talking to me about, generational trauma. Mm-hmm. And our ancestors didn't have the flexibility, the ability to be vulnerable. Mm-hmm. It was more of like, you just have to get through this day and get through this next day. And I feel like in many ways that was passed down to us. And I think, I can't speak for everyone because I don't think everybody's parents were like, it was coming from a good place. Yeah. But I do think that is a symptom of generational trauma. It's kind of like you have to figure out how you're going to make it through the next day. Mm-hmm. There's no excuses. This is how I did it. This is how I'm surviving. Mm-hmm. And this is how you need to survive. And I think what you're kind of bringing up for me is this thought about thriving. And I'm curious to hear from you, like, what does thriving mean for you? What does that look like in your life?
Thriving for me, that is peace. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about day-to-day stuff. I'm not worried about like finances. I'm not worried about how I show up. I'm not worried about like, I'm not worried about anything. You know what I mean? And I can see the fruits of my labor and the work and the things that I've poured into flourish and, impacting and making a difference and a demand, like, like that's thriving to me. Being happy, being able to every day, every moment it's a choice, right? But being able to have that choice, being able to choose joy on autopilot. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Being able to stay high vibrational just automatically. Like you meet them people, you're just like...
Yeah, I know some people, I'm like, I want that. I want to wake up and experience joy.
And you're like, okay, and it's just...
Yeah. Why do you think that joy, creating your own organic joy, living in that joy, why do you think that's important? Especially for like Black people, people of color, etc. Like, why is that important for us? Why is that needed?
Joy, and happiness, period, is, it's wealth. It's healthy. You know what I mean? It heals. It unifies. You think about it like when everybody's happy and everything is good and like everybody kicking it. You know what I mean? Everybody together more. You could do more because there's no worries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no, everybody's happy. Like, you're blessed. You're thankful. And don't get me wrong. Like, you can be going through an experience and still be thankful. But it's like, you wouldn't choose to, I don't feel like we would choose to suffer if we knew how not to.
I always share with people that like happiness is not a fixed state, right? It's a feeling that can come and go, but joy and abundance, like you can lean on those when things are difficult, when things are challenging, right? Because even if something didn't work out, if you have that spirit of abundance, you know that there's still so much that you have. Like, you haven't lost anything.
Yeah.
You know, when you're able to cultivate that joy, that's not just for you, that's for other people. That's something that can be projected outward, as well as being something that we hold within. And I think about that, and I think about the different ways in which you show up in the world. And music, you know, music, and I mean, you already named 20 things you can get done on a daily basis, but I think for you, I guess I want to hear about like how your music and how your community activism or community work, you know, embodies that wealth of joy and abundance.
Yeah. For me, music was my outlet. You feel me? I couldn't go to my parents and have conversations with my parents and talk to my parents about, you know, we grew up in the church and it was completely different. Yeah,
you know, that secular.
Come on, man. Like, come on. You know, like, you're awesome. Okay, God is love, first and foremost.
Right.
You feel me? And love is love. There's no...
You're right. There's no divvying.
Yeah, there's no... You can't... Love is love.
Yeah.
You know? God knows me, created me, and, you know, I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose. I am a product and a reflection of God's image. So, you know what I mean? You can't take that up with me.
Right.
And you're not going to make me feel any less than for being true to that and what I feel led, because your spiritual connection is personal. And you know, I can't live your life for you, just like you can't live my life for me. You know, but we can exist together, you know? But so music for me was that. Like, I'll never forget the first time I realized what freestyling was. We were in math class, 7th grade, Miss Steiner's class, and they're in the back of the classroom beating on the table.
Those were the days.
The pencil and the pen, just you know, making the beat. And they're back there, something. She's yelling because they're not paying attention, and we trying to learn and do. I'm like, what are y'all doing? He's like, oh, we're freestyling. It's like, what is that? And he's just like, oh, you just say whatever comes. And I was like, bro, was like, yeah, you should try it at break. Okay, boom. He just roasted me, and then I'm like, wait a minute. He just like released everything. He didn't hold back. I was like, what? And you can be creative with it.
Yep.
I always wrote poems and little short stories and stuff. Like, I always loved writing. So when I was able to do that and just do it off the top, and I could be creative just like that, I was like,
yeah.
Oh yeah. You know, it's just the pen and that paper. It don't judge you. It don't care what you say. Nope. It don't care what you write down. You know what I mean? I could tell you something and you could be like, she is out of her mind. She's tripping. But I could say whatever on this paper, there's not going to be anything back but what I read to myself and then what I start processing. Yeah,
it's about you. It's about what you're holding in. It's you releasing that. Whether
it soaks it all up.
Yeah, and it's out, it's gone.
It's gone.
I really love, you know, thinking about different outlets, right? So, yes, I'm biased about going to therapy, but therapy is not the only way to do healing work, as we're talking about now. And I think what we're really getting into is this power of creativity. Mm-hmm. You have that ownership over it. You can say whatever you need to say. You can show yourself. And I think it is a way to express vulnerability. It's just a different way of going about it. Mm-hmm. Because you're right. I think a lot of people have been harmed when they have tried to be vulnerable with people. And, you know, that can be for a number of reasons. And it's odd or interesting to me that, like, vulnerability is both a gift and a curse. Because when you are able to be vulnerable and someone hears you, the ability for that to heal deep wounds.
Yeah.
Like, you know, how does it feel when people are knowing your songs, when they're singing along with you? What feeling comes up for you?
It's unmatched. It's unreal. You're, the compound interest, it fills your bucket back up. You know what I mean? I always say, like, when our shoulders are heavy and our hearts are heavy because it's compound interest, right? So we're always depleting. When someone's singing along or knows you or recognize, you know, that's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
You feel me? When somebody's like, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, you know, like, it's a drop in the bucket. When somebody speaks life into you, that's a drop in the bucket. You know, when you just see something that touched your heart or something, that's a drop in the bucket. So it's like compound interest in the positive way. You know, it's therapeutic, it's healing.
Can you share with me how it's felt for you when people have taken the time to affirm you, to uplift you, to speak life into you? You mentioned it, but like, how has that changed you? How has that helped maybe even mend wounds for you?
Oh, that's a great question. It helped for me. It has helped to keep pushing me forward. You know, help me to not stop. Help me to not quit. Help me to not give up. You know, you shit get real. Like you come on, let's talk about it.
We can get into it. You can leave. You feel hopeless. Why am I here? What is my purpose?
Like, what is it? Like, what's the? Come on, like,
nobody cares. Nobody sees me.
Listen, there's got to be more. It's got to be better. You know, and it makes me emotional because it's, you know, people really experience things and it really get rough. You know, it really get rough, but it's like all we know is push through. You know, all we know is all we know is keep going. Yeah, all we know is don't stop. And it's like it's like with my music, right? It's like when people are like, tell me, when they let me know how it makes them feel, I'm like, you hear, you feel me? You took the time to listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've had people say they might have heard one song and was like, whoa, but they heard another song and like, you changed my life. Like,
yeah,
you know, like, it's unreal because my music is vulnerable. You feel me? My music, to me, is inspirational, and it's motivation for me. You know, it's those things, those affirmations, and those things for me to that I've had to tell myself. You know, that I have the lessons and things that I've learned throughout life, and things that I would tell, and you know, I try to implant in the youth and the people that I come in contact with that, you know, everybody's dealing with something. Everybody's going through something, man. When life's, we along for their ride. It's right. You know what I mean?
No, that's a big trend.
You know, we think we're in control until we're constantly reminded.
Or not. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Like, oh, did you see this one come in?
Right.
Yeah. I've been working. I think that's so many gems. And I appreciate you being vulnerable. I want to name it in this moment. I appreciate you for leaning into this conversation and being authentic and raw, because this is the whole point of me inviting people to come talk, because we're real people, real experiences, and also wanting to show people that, like, taking care of our mental health, we can do this in so many diverse ways. And I think a big thing for me, and I get on my soapbox about this, is like the interconnectedness of all of us. We are connected
in so many ways.
In so many
we don't
ways.
Even know.
And it's just like we're an ecosystem, like anything else. And I don't know why. You know, I do know why. There's lots of reasons why we feel like we need to be on an island of one when we are really all on the same ground. But I think there's just so much that has happened historically that makes us feel like, when you're saying don't push, don't stop, that makes you feel like it's just you. You know, so many people are like, it's just me, my back against the wall, and it's like, you don't gotta be. I think there's power in community. So I want to talk about, you know, your village. I have been blessed enough to, you know, start to know some people in your village and community, and I'm biased, but they're great. And I know there's people that are in your village that I've never met, right? But I want to know, how have the people in your village, you know, helped you see you?
Tremendously. Like,
Is that another emotionally loaded question? I'm not doing that on purpose.
No. Like, they show you they show you the love that you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that you are great. You know, that you do have purpose. You know, they heal things and bring things up about you. You know, they help you be a better you. Me, you know, they help me grow. They help me see perspective and light on so many things in so many ways. You know, it's like you're forever grateful. You know, like you're just
yeah. I feel like I know, you know, you're putting the words together, but I can feel that it's in your heart. Mm-hmm. Like the way that the people in your village have touched you is internal, and I think sometimes it's very difficult to explain the impact that people have. And I hope, I think that's my hope for people, is that we cultivate villages where we hold that, where it's something our heart can speak to. Yeah. And I think that is so, and I'm projecting, but I feel like for you that's been deeply healing. Big time. And probably life-giving in so many ways. And I think, you know, that's something I stress all the time, is that we need people. And I know there are going to be people out there that are like, I don't need nobody. That's because someone hurt you, someone disappointed you, someone let you down when you needed them. And I'm not judging, I'm not shaming, but I think there can be so much healing when we push, I don't want to say push through, but when we recognize that, one, and then make a conscientious effort to create village, to create community that can help heal that wound, or show up in the way, you know, show up in the way that we needed others in the world. That's another way to heal that wound. Because I don't know too many lonely people that are truly happy. So I don't know if it died here or not, but if it did, this is what I said. Before the camera died, I was saying we do a really bad job as humans humanizing ourselves, which means that we often struggle to humanize other people. And I just think that's really important. Until we treat ourselves, you know, like you were saying, push through, that's not human. Yeah. We're asking ourselves to be inhuman, these invincible things. And we know that, like, yes, generational things for some of us, that meant survival. But that didn't mean thriving. Yeah. That didn't mean a life, you know, fully lived for some people. Yeah. So, you know, thinking about where you are now in life, what are some gems that you want to leave the audience with? Like, what are some things you want them to know?
I want the audience to know that it's okay to be your authentic selves. Like, you are enough. You are, it's okay to take up space. It's okay to have your own opinion. It's okay to have your voice and use it. You know, everything ain't for everybody, but that's that person's problem and situation. Your job is to be you, you know, because if you're not being you, you're robbing us of the experience of what we're supposed to receive from you being you. And your puzzle piece ain't gonna match. You know, you got a certain space and place on this puzzle, just like we do. We can't rock your puzzle piece. You know, we gotta rock ours, so you gotta rock yours. So, you know, be you, and that's enough.
And you never know what's on the other side of your fear, because what is fear?
What is it?
You never know. And you won't know. And I'm like, it's been a ball. And I'm thinking, you know, I might be like a Van Gogh. I don't want to chop my ear off. But, you know, it may not resonate for y'all now. But 10 years, 5 years, a year from now, 6 months.
Me a legend.
I'm speaking it into existence. They're like, wow, they were sleeping on her. Like, all the way. Right. So it's like, but it'll be here. So thank you. Thank you all for indulging me.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if y'all haven't already, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you can be alerted when I'm dropping these gems. Look out for Chamel's stuff. Support. Listen to the music. Check out the merch. All the things. Donate to the cause.
Yes.
To continue the community work. We need each other. So until the next video, take care, y'all. All right. Bye.
I like to be educated, but I'm so